now we want to know if weight loss has changed your life. 0207 862 2222, that's the number. And the inspiration for this was my caller Emma the other day. She rang up from London on Friday and she revealed her extraordinary weight loss success. We couldn't quite believe it. Here's a reminder of what she said.
I lost 39 stone and I've kept the weight off.
No way.
Wow.
39 stone? Wow.
Yeah, I was over. I was over 49 stone, and I'm now 13.
Wow.
Well done. And how is life now? Tell me how
Kept the
life is
weight off.
different now.
Much better.
Wow, I mean, I'm still it's amazing, isn't it? What an achievement. So this is an opportunity to celebrate your achievement. Tell me how much you've lost, how your life has changed for the better as a result. I mean, obviously I was a famous fat person for years and years. Dawn French was the most famous fat person. I think I was probably the second most famous fat person. And I am looking pretty large. And I, in the full glare of publicity, because I didn't want anyone to accuse me of not telling the truth about it. So first of all, I had a gastric band, which worked sort of a bit for a short while. Then I had a gastric bypass. But I certainly, in fact, I bumped into Matt Lucas last night, the lovely Matt Lucas. Yes. And he said to me, I bet you wish you'd hung on for the Ozempic. And I said, yes, I do. What a shame I had to have that silly old operation when I could have if I'd just hung in and just stayed away from the biscuit tin for a few more years, could have had the fat jabs. But how do I feel slimmer than I was? Relieved, I suppose. Yes. And also not having to always worry about the extra health problems that you might get. So it was partly vanity, but it was also partly health, and it was all very public eye. There used to be a time when people would call out of vans and lorries, V, put that biscuit down, don't eat that, that kind of a thing.
Cruel. That's outrageous.
It was all a bit much, really, because I am a human being, and I did feel, you want people to think you're attractive. You don't want people to brand you a big old fatty. So, it's been a thing. It's been a pretty public...
You've always been very attractive, Vanessa.
Very nice for you to say that. Thank you very much. But it's been a bit of a journey. I know that you're busily losing weight, Claire.
Well, I am. I am actually on a weight loss jab. I'm on Mounjaro because of health reasons. I need to get my aortic valve replaced for the second time.
Oh, gosh.
So I need to be theatre fit and then post-operatively fit enough to convalesce really well. And as of course, I think we're all in the same boat. We're freelance. If we don't work, we don't get paid.
Yes.
So therefore, my convalescence has to be quite rapid in order to get myself back out, in order to work, to pay the bills. But the reason I think, and I would never have said or never have recommended Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro at all to anyone, let alone myself, but it was my cardiologist. And he said to me, look, you've been on the same weight for a few years, 2 or 3 years, you've remained the same. He said, you need a bit of help. Right. You need the help. It's not that you are obese through overeating, over drinking or whatever. For me, it was type 2 diabetes, a lot of stress, a lot of cortisol, a lot of quite a high stressful life over the past 8 to 10 years. This will help.
And it is helping,
Take
right?
the help.
It is helping,
down
right?
10 kg.
Oh, you've lost 10 kilograms. Fabulous.
I'm now in remission from diabetes.
Wow.
And I'm now on a really good pathway for this operation to be as much of a success as I could possibly make it, because it's all about ownership.
Yes.
It's all about your own accountability.
Yeah.
And you have to take control of that.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I needed the help, and it's worked.
You're doing so well. It's absolutely fantastic. Good to hear about that. And I wish you every single luck in the world.
Well, you'll be there.
Yeah, my gosh. All right, let's talk to a man whose life was saved by losing weight. It's my next guest, Johan Pollard. He used to weigh in at 45 stone. Here's a picture of him there. He had a 72-inch waist, so he was too large to be operated on when he desperately needed a new kidney. He ended up losing 30 stone, and here he is to join us today. Johan, hello. There you. Oh my goodness me. We can almost not recognise you from your much, much larger self. Congratulations to you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And quite similar to Claire's story, really. I knew I suffered a septic incident when I was 27 years old, and kidneys starting to failing, and knowing that a transplant was on the horizon, and to be eligible for that transplant, I had to lose a significant amount of weight. And then it all started.
Tell me some people will be wondering, I'm sure, how you got as large as you were, because they will be imagining that you had to eat the most enormous amount of food to have weighed. What were you weighing at your absolute heaviest in stones?
Well, that 45 stone is the medical record that we have. I'm sure I topped close to 47 at one point.
And
But
what was going on with you, my love, at this point?
well, and that's the thing. I think people have too easily blame others, or there's always a reason for. I'm just speaking on behalf of myself here. It was down to two things and two things only: is being much too greedy and far too lazy, putting too much energy into the body and not burning it off, and then. Yes, but people say, oh, lots of people are like that. But it was the volume. The best example I can give you was a typical lunchtime routine where I was queuing up for a roll from the canteen or the deli. Couldn't decide whether I wanted, cheese and onion roll, ham roll, or maybe beef roll, but I'd be ending up getting all three and, be chewing away at them whilst everyone else was having one. And that it was day in, day out. That was the routine. And portions started becoming bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So yes,
Do you think it was an addiction? I mean, did you feel like it was an illness? That you were thinking, "Gosh, I'm getting bigger. And I know you've got a pair of your jeans with you there, have you now? Do you mind holding it up so we can see, just so we sort of get the picture of what you were only going through? And oh my goodness, and I so feel for you, because I know what it's like when it's out of control, and it's really very, very difficult. Did you feel as if you couldn't stop? You just couldn't. It was beyond your control.
Well, I've always liked my food, enjoying food, and I would travel quite far for a nice meal. But it became obsessive, and even my social life was all revolving around food and meeting friends over a meal rather than meeting them for walks and to exercise. And it just became a vicious circle. And thinking back now, it must have been not an illness as such, but it was a problem, and it was down to self-control and not being able to control, and that's why.
And tell me about the losing part. So was that because of Manjaro, Wegovy, or something like that? Is that how?
No,
it happened? No. How did you do it?
So first of all, and before then, I had tried every diet known to man, the Atkins, the 5-2, Lighter Life, all of them, and all seemed to work pretty well at the start. But after sort of week 3 came, sort of slipped back into bad habits. So as I mentioned, I suffered from sepsis, and I nearly lost my life then. And the decision was then made that I had to seek drastic changes. So I went for a full gastric sleeve to begin with, and being 45 stone, there were dangers of putting me under general anaesthetic. So that was a risk in itself.
Yes.
And the first week after the sleeve, I lost a staggering 3 stone, which to me was unbelievable, and sort of sent me on my way. And then I got to a point where my doctors decided that conversion to a gastric bypass was
Tell me something,
required.
because tell me something, Johan. How is life now? How has it changed? This enormous weight loss. I mean, it's a phenomenal achievement. How do you feel? What's your life like now?
Well, and this is a point I always raise when I discuss this topic. It's a shame that in order to qualify for these treatments by the National Health, you have to be suffering from at least 2 chronic illnesses to be considered for bariatric surgery. Whereas it could be looked at from a preventative side, and then to avoid any chronic conditions. And I had my renal problems. I had severe sleep apnea, and I had high blood pressure. So in terms of chronic illnesses, I'm free now from a dialysis machine, which I dialysed every other day.
Well, that's brilliant,
for
isn't
10
it?
hours at a time. It is, and the sleep apnea has gone away.
Well, that's
My
fantastic.
blood pressure.
Joanne, thank you very much indeed. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, an incredible achievement. Anita Harris is clapping you. She's giving you a round of applause. And we should mention that Joanne's documentary, Dying to Live, is available to watch on demand with S4C and also on BBC iPlayer, so you can see it and see his whole story. Let's go to Barbara in Cheshire. Barbara, you've gone down 5 dress sizes. How is it? What's it like?
I talked to you last week about my hair growing and my nails keep growing.
That's right, you did.
And it's just great. The only thing is, now you're going to have a laugh about this, I'm sick of buying knickers.
You're sick of buying knickers? Why? Because you keep getting small. You keep getting too small for the ones you've got.
My granny grumps are very big. And my granny grumps were very small.
How funny.
Wow.
Do you feel differently about yourself? Do you feel like you're a different person?
Yeah, I told you last week, I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I find it really hard to exercise and everything, but I am getting there. And I've now started to walk a bit better now, so I can get out of my chair and do a few steps. So it's changing my life dramatically, so it's fab.
Why don't you take
Even the long hair, like I told you last week.
You could take the old knickers and sew them together and make a nice little blanket for yourself.
I think they belong to Bridget Jones, don't they?
Barbara, lots of love and wish you well. She's doing incredibly well.
Congratulations.
She's even beginning to walk
Well
better,
done.
which is absolutely phenomenal.
Yes,
You've always been willow slim, haven't you? Has it
No,
taken a lot of effort to
I
be
was
this
a plump kid. I can remember kids saying, "Go away, fatty. We don't want to play with
Seriously?
you." But then I shot up when I was 13, so I think it naturally went away. So I feel blessed. But look, it's health. Health is the paramount reason. I've got a very dear friend who's just started on the injections.
Yeah, good luck to
because
her.
of
We've got to
knees.
bring it to a conclusion, but
Sorry.
it's been fantastic to see you. Thank